It was the light that first captured her. It was said the quality of light on Cape Cod could be seen only in a couple of other places in the world. Venice, perhaps, the Greek islands. Some called it a magical radiance, others a pure, mystical glow that emanated from sea and sand. One thing was certain, the light on Cape Cod had been luring artists for more than 100 years. More than anything, Claire Noble wanted to see the famous Cape Cod Light. Sitting in her 8th period honors history class, she stared at the brochure and application for the Cape Cod Arts Center while her students completed their final exams. She reread the workshop description, glancing up every couple of minutes to check for straying eyes, carefully hidden cheat sheets. Only 10 would be chosen to participate in the photography workshop. They would study with one of the best photographers in the country in a place that could transform an idea, where one's vision might transcend the ordinary. She was disappointed there were no photos on the brochure. She wondered if it were a lack of funds or if they chose to leave the light to the reader's imagination. Nearly every quote on the brochure was about the light. Legendary. Alive. A supernal glow. Claire grabbed her dictionary, wondering if supernal was a typo for supernatural. No, it had to do with the heavens, she read, therefore a heavenly glow. What more could she ask for? And then, a few paragraphs down, she read, "This curling finger of sand jutting into the sea at the tip of Cape Cod has beckoned artists and writers for over a century," followed by a quote from Thoreau. "A man may stand there and put all America behind him." And she felt like everything she'd once wanted was finally there before her. She simply had to reach out and grab it. She stared out the classroom windows. Sloped green fields surrounded the high school, and a ring of blazing pink azaleas lined the parking lot. With all the windows open, the drone of honeybees seemed to fill the warm air. Already she saw students slipping out to their cars, intent on enjoying the glorious day. Claire felt it too, as she did every June. The end of the term. The seductive weather. Maybe it was being surrounded by teenagers each day, the contagion of raging hormones. Or perhaps it was the thought of not being touched in more years than she could count. A longing she hadn't felt in months suddenly ignited again like sap running through her body after a hard winter. As always, her thoughts turned to Liam. She heard the scrape of a chair and looked up. Daniel Stout brought his test up and laid it on her desk. She gave him a smile and turned the brochure over to the blank application page. She'd first read about Cape Cod Light in an art history class taken at a local college just after Amy left home. Devastated, she knew she had to keep busy or she'd lose her mind with worry. Then, when her daughter still hadn't come back, Claire had moved on to a photography course. Suddenly, it was as if she'd found herself again, after all these years. Truth of the matter is she was tired of teaching. 20 years of trying to coax lazy or apathetic students into a love of learning had exhausted her. But every once in a while there was a student or two who felt the excitement of history, the relevance of the past. Those were the students she couldn't cheat. The last thing she wanted was to be deadwood in the classroom. Looking at the application, anticipation hummed within her like an electric current she could barely contain. She was wired, a term her students used when they were so excited they felt like they were jumping out of their skin. She picked up her pen and began filling out the application as one student after another laid a completed test on her desk. She would have most of the summer to complete a portfolio of photographs. The chances she'd be chosen were slim, she knew, but she would give it her best shot. Because after a 25-year detour, Claire Noble was ready to go after one of her dreams again.